Hi everyone, and welcome back to Beverly's Stunning Creations. In today's DIY, I'm super excited to show you how I made this gorgeous mirror using napkin rings from Dollar Tree. This mirror is definitely one of my top 3 favorite mirrors that I've ever made, and I hope it'll be one of your favorites too. This DIY is inexpensive and easy to follow. So if you like what you see and want to learn how, then please keep watching. For this project, I'm using 4 packs of the Dollar Tree napkin rings. I'm also using the Gorilla Clear Glue. I'm also using this heating tool to cut my napkin rings, but you can use a hot butter knife. I'm also using my hot glue gun. I have this 12-inch round mirror that I picked up at Michael's. My plan was to use one of the framed round mirrors from Dollar Tree, but this is one of the smaller ones and it didn't work. So I went back to Joann's and purchased a 7-inch mirror. As you can see, there's quite a difference in the sizes. So let's get started. First, I'm going to remove the feet from the larger mirror, and you can remove the label too if you want to, but it really doesn't matter. I traced the shape of the mirror onto a piece of the Dollar Tree foam board. Then I used one of the Dollar Tree X-Acto knives to cut the shape out. I applied a generous amount of the Gorilla Glue onto the foam board and then attached the mirror and made sure that both pieces were even. Next, I'll apply some Gorilla Glue to the smaller mirror, glue it in the center of the larger mirror, and I'll use my ruler to make sure that it's even all the way around. This step is going to help me with placement of my napkin rings later. In the next step, I'll cover the edge of the larger mirror with some of this bling wrap. So I'm just going to use this large roll of bling wrap to wrap around the outside. Then I'll cut off 2 rolls and then use my hot glue gun to glue it around the mirror. This large roll of bling wrap is from TotallyDazzled.com, and if you're really into crafting, I would suggest you purchase a roll because it really goes a long way. If you're interested, I'll leave a link in the description box below. I applied hot glue to small sections at a time and then attached the bling wrap. I repeated those steps until the entire edge of the mirror was covered. Okay, so here comes the fun part, and I'm being sarcastic, but it's so worth it. Now, I have a heating tool and it has different attachments. This is the blade that I'll be using, but if you don't have this tool, you can use a knife. Just heat it up on the stove and cut your napkin ring that way. On each napkin ring, you'll see 2 lines on it. That's where you want to make your cuts. That'll give you 2 halves that are almost perfectly the same size. Now, I told you guys this is the fun part. You'll need to cut 21 rings in order to have 42 pieces. For this, my hot knife really came in handy. Now, I purchased mine at Michael's, and of course I used my 50% off coupon. And I can't remember the exact price, but it really wasn't that expensive, so I suggest you get one if you're really into crafting. I evenly spaced 12 pieces around the smaller mirror. I then double checked to make sure that they were all even. I grabbed one of my pieces, applied some Gorilla Glue to each side, then put it back in place on the mirror. I also made sure that the piece was resting against the smaller mirror. This step will help you to keep all the pieces centered. Repeat these steps until all 12 pieces are glued down. When you're done, just check all your pieces and make sure they're glued down properly. Pick up another piece, add glue, and start gluing down your second row. You'll start your second row out by gluing one piece in the center of the first row, the same way that I'm gluing the pieces down in the video. Now that you see how it goes, I'll continue to glue them on off camera to save on time. Alright, my second row is complete. Now I'll start on the third row. And I'll do pretty much the same thing. This time around, the piece extends past the larger mirror, so you'll only need to put glue on the part that touches the mirror. If your piece doesn't sit upright and leans downward, you can slide something underneath it to hold it in place. I use a tower block from Dollar Tree as a reference. I'll continue to add on more pieces until my third row is complete. Now that my third row is complete, I'll let the glue set up for about an hour and then move on to the fourth and final row. I'll be gluing the fourth row on different than I did the previous rows. The fourth row pieces will sit between the third row pieces, but against the edge of the mirror. It's really simple to do, just watch the way that I do it in the video. Now if you don't want to add a fourth row, you don't have to, you can stop at number 3. 3 rows is just as pretty as 4 rows to me. I just wanted my mirror a little bit larger. I've added all the fourth row pieces. Now I'll put some tape on them to hold them in place until the glue sets up. I let the glue set up for about 3 hours, so now I'm going to flip it over and reinforce the bottom of my napkin ring with some hot glue. As you can see, I'm adding the hot glue right inside where the napkin ring is glued to the mirror. I'll also add some hot glue where the third and fourth row meets. I continue to add glue to the remaining pieces on the fourth row and whenever possible between the third and fourth row. Now I'll gently remove all the pieces of tape. If you followed all the steps so far, your mirror should look like this. I think it's absolutely beautiful, but because I know you glam girls want to make it a little bit more glamorous and you bling queens want to make it a little bit more blingier, I'm going to add some bling wrap to it. So what I'm going to do is recreate what I've done here using some of this bling wrap from TotallyDazzled.com. Again, she has a really nice selection of bling wrap and there are really large rolls that'll last a long time. I'll leave a link in the description below. Here I have some pieces of bling wrap that I measured and cut ahead of time. Because I'm using really thin pieces of bling wrap, I'm not going to use my hot glue gun. I'll be using some of this Fix-All from Dollar Tree instead. And plus it dries clearer than the hot glue. Some pieces I'll add 1 strip of bling to. Some pieces I'll add 2 strips of bling. Now, you don't have to use the design that I'm using. You can come up with your own. It's up to you. I used a popsicle stick to apply the glue, but using something small like a toothpick would work much better. I'll be adding a strip of bling to the top and the bottom of these pieces. Now I'm adding bling to the fourth row. And here's what it looks like almost complete. As you can see, adding the bling really did make this piece more stunning. Now I'll add 2 rows of bling in the center of the remaining pieces and then come back and move on to the final steps. Next, I'm going to glue this metal hook on the back of my mirror. I'll be using my Gorilla Glue along with some hot glue. The Gorilla Glue will give it a permanent hold, and the hot glue gives it an immediate hold. I glued the hook so that one of my fourth row pieces would be in the center at the top. You want to make sure that the hook is pressed firmly against the back of the mirror because you don't want your mirror to fall off the wall. I let the glue set up on my hook overnight. As you can see, the hook is really secure on the back of the mirror. Now your mirror is complete and ready to be hung on the wall. Unless you're like me and want to add this decorative bow to it. This is an idea that came to me after I completed the mirror, so I went to my local Dollar Tree in search of some silver ribbon, and this was the only silver ribbon that they had in the store. So I'm going to cut 2 strips of the ribbon the same size, glue them both individually at an angle onto the back of the mirror. Flip the mirror back over and then tie a bow. Now I'm not the best at making bows, so please bear with me. When I was happy with my bow, I cut off the excess ribbon. I actually cut off more than you see here. Now I'll clean my beautiful new mirror, hang it on the wall, come back and let you see what it looks like. And here's what my beautiful mirror looks like. I hung it by the hook on the back of the mirror. I stretched the ribbon and bow as high as it would go, and then put a nail just beneath it. This will make the mirror appear that it's being held up by the ribbon and bow. This concludes my DIY. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave me a thumbs up. Don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe. See you next time.